This is a tutorial how to take your finished Sumo bot and take this base piece here, and instead of 3D printing it, we're actually going to laser engrave it. So to start off with, what I want to do is actually take this file and start a new file actually with just the base piece in it and in a two-dimensional setting. So I'm just going to go up to File and New, and go down here to Drawing. And this drawing now is, I'm just going to call it 2D underscore laser underscore sumo underscore base. Remember that you can't have spaces when you create names in this program. So 2D laser sumo base. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. And here what's going to happen is the specified template, I'm going to put empty, and I'm going to go variable here. And what I'm going to do is change the size of the paper I'm working with, or the workspace, to actually be 24 inches by 12, which is the exact same size as the laser engraver. And I click on OK. So next that comes up is I'm actually in a completely different part of Creo Parametric, right? And you can see this up here, and there's the title of it. And I'm in the 2D drawing side of this now. So what I'm going to do is actually make a plan, right? So I'm going to go to Drawing Models, and I'm going to add model, and I'm going to actually grab the base part now because this is the part that I want, and I'm going to place it on here. So to do that, I go General, and I just go OK. And if you read down here, it says Select Center Point for Drawing. So I'm just going to click right here, and the drawing comes in. And this dialog box comes up, and I need to do a few things here. So for example, I want it flat, not on an angle like that. So I'm going to go from the top view and go Apply to flatten it out. And the other thing is I don't want it grayscale. I want it just all clean, or black and white. So I'm going to come to View Display and change this one to No Hidden, and go Apply. And there's basically my the layout of my part. Now down here, make sure, see where it says Scale here, make sure it's 1, because you want to make sure that when it prints out it's scaled 1 to 1. And the other thing is, maybe in yours when it came in, you had all these the different datum planes turned on. So what you want to do is make sure that they're actually turned off. So come up to here and turn everything off, because you don't want to export that into, and what I'm doing is I'm just scrolling in once or twice, and you don't want to export that out to the next program. So now that I'm done, I've got the part in place. I can move it around if I want. If I click on it once, right mouse click on it, you just got to remove lock view movement, and I can move it around. So if I had multiple pieces, I might want to move them, but I'm just going to leave this in the top corner. Okay, so there we go. Now I just go to File, I go to Save As, I go down to Export, and I'm going to export as a DXF, and I'm just going to click Export. And it comes up, and I'm going to call it 2D Sumo. You can see I've got a couple of different versions here. So 2D Laser Sumo Base, and just hit OK, and out it goes. Okay, so there I'm done. So that is the part of Creo that is now done. Now what I'm going to do is switch over to Adobe Illustrator and use Adobe Illustrator as the program to actually convert it to the laser engraver. So here's my Adobe Illustrator, and I've started it up. It's blank. I'm going to go to File, New, and in New, don't have to name it, Profile, don't have to do anything, but down here where it says Width, you're going to change it to 24 by 12. Yours probably says 11 by 8.5 right now. So change it to 24 here, 12 to height, and just click OK. And it starts up. You got a blank screen. Then I go File, Open, and what I want to do is look for the file that I just created. Okay, I'm going to go Date Modified, and I know that it was created today. And oops, it's not under Display Stand. That's why I can't find it. I'm going to go back to Creo once, and I'm going to go down to Sumo, because that's what I called it. And here's my one that I just created. If I look at my date, that's when I'm creating it right now. And click Open, and I just hit OK because it's going to lose some formatting, but nothing that you're concerned about. And Artwork Scale, Original Size, we want it 1 to 1. And click on OK. And you can't see anything right now because it's actually just zoomed in. So just come down to the bottom here and go Fit on Screen, and there's my file. Okay, now a couple quick things I have to do in here. If you go back to Creo, you'll notice that there's a border here. That border got exported. We don't want the border. So we just go back into here, and when I click, you can see kind of it does a little highlights here with a green. I'm going to click on it. See how it's red? That's actually the line. So I'm going to delete that line, come over to here, click. You can see the line there. Click the line and click the line. So now the lines are all gone for the border. And then the next couple things are I'm going to highlight the actual thing. Laser engraver works off the colors black and red. Black for engraving, red for cutting through. And we're going to cut this out. So what I'm going to do is highlight it as I've done. I'm going to come up to the color here, and this is the color of the line. And I'm going to double click the black. I'm going to change it from black, see the RGBs here, and I'm going to change the red all the way to 255 and leave the other two at 0 so it's red. Click OK, and now my color is red. I'm going to highlight it once more. The other thing the program works on is a line width, and under stroke here I'm going to change this to 0.001, not 0.002, not 0.05, 0.001. Just hit enter, and that's now changed the line thickness. Okay, so now we're ready to get it out to the laser engraver. So it's simply File, Print, and once print comes up here Printer, I change this to the laser engraver, and you can now see there's my 24 by 12. There it's in red. Don't have to change anything else. You just press Print. From there, I go down to Show Hidden Icons, and there's the Universal Laser System. Click on it. It comes in, and you can see how it's brought up and it's in the program. It's in red. If this was gray right now, it's not going to cut. It has to be the color red, so I know it's right. A couple things I got to do in here is settings. So I'm going to click on the settings. And materials database, these are just some generic settings that can be used. And different, if there's metals or glass, we're using plastic right now because we're going to use ABS. But when you get to this, there's a whole bunch of these settings and stuff, and it's a bit confusing. So what I do is I just go straight to manual control. We know the only color in here that we're working with is red, so I'm going to click on it. And there's some settings here, and I have to set these. So what are the settings? Well, if I go back to the Vanya website, or my website, and I go under How To, Laser Engrave, I come to this site, and if I scroll down, there's the settings. Okay, so we're using ABS, so if I highlight these, I basically want 0.125, that's how thick the material is, what we're using. I want the power to be 70%, I want the speed to be 1.2, and I want the PPI to be 300. So just remember those. I'm going to go back to the program. And speed 70%, sorry, power 70%, that's how much power of the laser beam is on, so it's 100% is obviously full power. Speed, I'm going to go 1.2, okay, that's how slow it's going, right? So the faster it goes, the less deep it cuts, the slower it goes, the deeper it cuts. And finally the PPI, I'm going to put 300. That's how many times it hits the plastic in an inch, so pulses per inch, so it's going to hit 300 times. Now, depending on the material you use, depends on the results that are going to happen. Okay, so different materials, these numbers are all going to change. So I just know for ABS 1/8 inch, it's about those settings. We just click Set, and then we just click on OK. So the last thing that's going to happen is I have to turn it on. I'm not connected to the laser, so that's why there's no on button right here. That is in the next part of the tutorial, and you will see that. Obviously I'll demonstrate it, and also there's a tutorial that is there that actually shows you, how to turn it on, how to focus it using this tool right here, and how to actually manually focus it. And that's the last installment of the tutorials. So there you go. That's how to get from Creo Parametric in 2D to the laser engraver using Adobe Illustrator.